Good evening. Welcome to the Awareness of Mediation workshop being conducted by Snehi Mediation and Counseling. First of all, let me welcome all of you senior faculty members who are participants in this program. We have Dr. Vijendra, who is from PES University. Vandana Revankar from SSMRV College, Professor Bharati Yadav from SSMRV College, and we also have Nandini Joshi and Sandhya Rukmini, who are senior teachers doing voluntary work in high schools across India. My heartfelt thanks to you for making time for this initiative and a humble contribution to the field of mediation in India. Now, I thought of this workshop because the mediation bill is on the floor of the parliament. It is being deliberated and it is only important, pertinent and necessary for the students of India and the would-be citizens to know what mediation is all about. In the next 8 to 10 days, we will be having interactive sessions with talks, role plays, videos, and assignments, wherein all the participants will be participating. And I hope to make these sessions both learning and interesting. Now, coming to myself, I am Dr. Bharti Rao. I am a certified mediator from Singapore Mediation Center. I was one of the first to train in 2015 in Singapore Mediation Center. From January of 2018, I am on the panel of Singapore International Mediation Institute, popularly called as SIMI in mediation parlance. I am also the founder of Snehi Mediation and Counseling, an outfit primarily to promote education in mediation in India and across the world. So with this as a brief, can I start? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So as an introduction, I just want to tell you how I got into mediation in the first place. I'm a trained counselor and a teacher also. And in 2015, I attended a counseling conference in Bengaluru, in which eminent mediator and senior counsel Laila Olapalli spoke of mediation. She was a guest speaker in this conference. She spoke of how through mediation, after a fight, there is no animosity. Fights are settled amicably. The true reason for the fight is identified and the problem is addressed. This leads to improvement in communication and building of relationships and harmony in society. This is what she stated. Now, this was something which was extremely interesting and it attracted me, and almost immediately within a few months, I went to Singapore to train in mediation in the Singapore Mediation Center. This was in 2015. This was just starting off in Singapore at that time. We just had 20 participants. And the requirement was that we had 15 years of experience. I was fortunate that the participant team of 20 members, we were fortunate to have District Court's Judge David Lim and Shanti Abraham from Malaysia, who coached us in mediation in the 10-day sessions. That was a time when mediation was catching up in a big way in South Asia, Southeast Asia. They were flying, hopping here and there to Australia, New Zealand, and so on. In fact, in the workshop that I attended, we had participants from Australia, Korea, and so on. So at the end of this exam was very difficult. We did not, many of us did not qualify. But then I went again in 2017 to certify. And I saw that in Singapore, most of the vacancies for mediators were full. It had spread like wildfire, and it was being taken to the schools and colleges as well. That was the speed with which mediation had spread. I also came to know that the United Nations is taking initiatives through its vision and mission statements to promote mediation as a peaceful method for resolving problems. Okay. Now, what is it that attracted me to mediation for resolving disputes? Normally, in a typical problem situation, what happens is, along with the fight, there are alongside emotions like anger, then there is sadness. Sometimes with the fight, there is guilt and so much of angst in a person. Like, for example, if there are two students in a fight over marks or grading in class, it can happen that the teacher settles the issues, or it can also happen that the teacher has not been able to solve the issues. Whatever it is, what has happened in the fight is that relationships have got soured between the two warring people. Sometimes the people who are into a fight, they do not want to look at one another. The students may not want to walk on the same road. They may not want to cross the road where the other student is walking, other person is walking. And sometimes the angst becomes so much that your heartbeat increases. Sometimes you're feeling so tense, you just feel like beating the other person up, although the problem has been resolved. Something inside you is burning still. It is the feelings that are associated with the fight. The longer the fight and the bigger the issues that are involved, more of these things happen. Now, with passing time and as we grow older, it can happen that you think, why did we fight at that point in time? I'm missing that friend. I wish we had made up at that point in time. And what is it that we could have done? But then it's too late to just go and say, sorry, just let's make up. Because there is so much that has happened between the triggering point of the fight and today. So it's too late. So it is here that mediation helps, because it shows a simple way in which the associate feelings of angst associated with a fight or issue or a problem, they can be attended to. There is a sense of sharing amongst people, and there is peace and harmony. In fact, it was for these reasons that Professor Sanders, from Harvard University, he propounded this concept of settling issues or problems through mediation in the United States in University of Minnesota in 1980s. So this is the background of, this is the Pound Conference in which Professor Sanders, he introduced the concept of mediation. Yeah, can we proceed? Okay. So now the other issues that come up are, we have so many ways of resolving problems. Why is it that there was a need felt for a method like mediation? For instance, in business context, let us say, people go to courts. Then we have arbitration. In arbitration, you have the two people who are into a fight sitting on opposite sides, and the arbitrator, he does the settlement. And then in protests and military fights, we are seeing how fights are happening between Ukraine and Russia. So these are some of the ways in which, in business context or country context, the issues are resolved. Now, issues that are more simple, or maybe familial or everyday issues, also can be mediated and settled through mediation. Like, for instance, why is there a need for mediation today as compared to earlier days? Even in earlier days, we had our own form of mediation through Panchayat Raj, where people used to go to the panchas and ask for advice. Now, what has happened is, we don't have joint families like before. We have more women and mothers and wives, everyone going out to work. Then there are less number of children. We don't have many cousins like before. So when we don't have grandparents, such other things. So when you go home, it sometimes happens that there's no one to talk to at home about something that is bothering your mind or heart. Supposing there's a fight situation, you just want to speak about it and ask for advice. And then there is another issue to it. It's not as if elders or people at home, they know how to help you out of a fight situation, however simple it is. We have heard of elders saying, okay, you don't fight when two people don't fight, just settle the issue, continue to be friends. That's not the way to be, because the internal feelings of hurt or anger that have come about because of the fight, they are not attended to by the people who have given such advice. Now, in mediation, the real cause of the fight is identified. There is a process of finding out what is the real cause, attending to it, and in a simple way resolving the fight and having good communication and relationships. Mediation can be done in class, in college, in the new job, anywhere, in the family, anywhere. It can be done on Skype. It can be done on FaceTime. It can also be done in small groups. In fact, in Singapore, the concept of peer mediation has started, wherein the friends across in the class, they settle their issues. They are trained from schooling to settle their fights in a amicable way. Now you might ask, where is the need to talk of fights all the time? In fact, when I was trying to get across to people to attend the awareness of mediation program, people said, we are not people who get into fights or conflicts. So where is the need to get into a fight situation? Where is the need to get trained in mediation? It's not about major fights. It can be simple everyday issues, and it is a way of life which with practice it becomes a way of life. So with this we get to the next part of today's session. This will be a hands-on exercise. And now we will look at the exercise. I request all of you to go through this exercise. This is the first tenet of mediation. Okay, so this is, it tells you about the first tenet of mediation. This is a real life case which I conceived during the time of the pandemic. Now we will look at the exercise. I request all of you to go through this exercise. So the first tenet of mediation is that it is a win-win for both the parties. Like in most of the fight situations, what happens is one person gets something and the other person may or may not get something that he wants. And most of the issues that are resolved are monetary or tangibles, like for example, wealth, money, property, and so on. Now with mediation, what happens is, in a mediated fight, it is a win-win for both the parties in that both the parties get a little bit out of the solution. They get the part that is attractive to them within the larger context of the situation. Both the parties, both the people into the fight, they try to resolve the issue as per their requirements, and they go about finding a solution that is mutually acceptable to both of them. As a result of this, when they are able to settle the issue in such a way that both are satisfied, they go back happy, and because the solution is found by themselves, they are happy. It's not imposed by somebody else. It's not like the teachers telling them, you do this, you do that. The students are deciding themselves what is it that is bothering them, and they settle the fights or issues on their own. Similarly, other examples. Now, the effort in mediation is to build relationships and to keep the communication alive. Now here is a case. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So did you finish reading this? The important information? Yeah, can I go to the next slide? Yeah? Okay. So what is it you wanted and what is it Mr. Pathak wanted?
1,500 plants.
Who wanted 1,500? You wanted. And what did
Right.
Mr. Pathak want?
800 plants.
800 plants. Okay. And what else was required? So there's a fight between the two
Yes.
people. How can it be resolved in such a way that both are satisfied? Is there some information in that?
Can I speak?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, I need the pollens of the flower,
Yeah,
and the Pathak needs the stalk.
yeah.
We can share.
Okay. So it's not required that the number of plants is, we need that number of plants. And we can proceed with, you need the pollen and Mr. Pathak, what does he need?
The stalk.
He needs the stalk. And Mr. You need the pollen of the flowers. And Mr.
Yeah.
Pathak, he needs the stalk of the plant. So essentially, what is happening is that both the people into a situation have settled the issue in amicable manner, and here they are, holding hands and celebrating. Now, I included this slide because sometimes in mediation sessions, people get tired and the sessions go on for days together, but they keep on at it because they are interested in finding a solution, because the solution is something that they decide. Somebody else doesn't decide for them. So as a result of this, mediation helps in improving communication and clearing misunderstandings. It reduces stress and frustration because everyone has got something out of the solution, and communication improves as a result of mediation, because often in a fight, people don't want to look at one another, and there are emotional issues. So this is about one tenet of mediation that is important. This is the win-win method that is important in mediation. Now let's look at another short video which I kept open. Look at how the birds are communicating. They are discussing the issues. Look at their body language, how they are nodding their heads, how they are turning to one another. So this is about mediation. Once people are communicating, it's the first step to building of relationships. So with this, let's stop. Let's stop the session for today. And the chief takeaways for today's session are a brief overview of what mediation is and where it started in the Pound Conference, and that it is a win-win situation and communication gets improved. Thanks for being here, and we will be meeting for lesson number 2 tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.